This is the story of a servant who gets involved with the king's wife. When the king finds out, he flees to save his life and starts working at a church, hiding his identity. However, he doesn't know that the nuns at this church, who seem devout, actually lead difficult lives filled with strange desires. After arriving here, the servant experiences events that completely change his life, as well as the lives of all the nuns. Before starting the story, I'd like to mention that this video is for entertainment and to explain the concept of the film. Our aim is not to offend any religious sentiments or beliefs. If any video clips or words make you feel uncomfortable, we request you to view it solely for entertainment purposes. The story begins with us seeing a sister named Fernanda, who is holding her donkey and heading towards the church through a forest. After reaching the church, another sister named Genevieve comes and asks Fernanda, "Where were you last night?" Fernanda replies, "As always, my donkey ran away last night, and I was looking for him until morning." Genevieve says, "I lock the gate properly every day, then how does he run away every night?" While they are discussing this, the church gardener, Lurko, comes and says good morning to them, but they scold him and chase him away. After this, in the next scene, all the sisters go to the church for morning prayers. After the prayer, the church superior, Sister Maria, asks Fernanda, "Where were you last night?" Fernanda replies, "My donkey ran away again last night, and I went to catch him." Hearing this, Sister Maria says nothing. The reason for the donkey running away repeatedly is something else, which we will find out later. On the other hand, we see Sister Alessandro, who is sad because she doesn't want to stay in the church. She wants to go out and live her life to the fullest. On the other side, we see Sister Genevieve talking with Sister Maria. She then sees a picture in a book with a strange ritual written about it. She is a bit surprised to see this, and after reading a few lines, she puts the book back. Meanwhile, Sister Alessandro is shown talking with her father. Her father says, "I am looking for a good boy for you, but the problem is that every good boy asks for a lot of dowry." Alessandro says, "If you donate a little less to the church, maybe we can arrange the dowry money." But her father says, "That would not be right. Don't worry, and focus on your career. Whether you get married or not, it's more important that you live your life well." Alessandro becomes very sad hearing this because she wants a good and happy life only by getting married. The next day, we see the three sisters together, carrying the clothes they have woven. Alessandro tells the other two sisters what her father said, and they also become sad. Just then, they see Lurko there, who is looking at them strangely while working. Seeing this, the three of them get angry with him. To vent their anger, they go inside and throw Lurko's belongings. Even after doing this, their anger doesn't subside, so they beat him up as well. On the other hand, we see Father Tommaso of this church leaving to take the sisters' woven clothes to the market. On the way, Lurko meets him and says, "Please forgive me, Father, but I no longer want to work in this church." Father tries to persuade him, saying, "Nothing like this will happen again," but Lurko doesn't listen to him and leaves. After this, we see a landlord named Lord Bruno at a house a few miles from the church, talking with his wife, Francesca, while having dinner. However, Francesca's attention is on their servant, Misetto, and Misetto is also looking at his mistress. Seeing the two of them, it seems that they are having an affair. Then, at night, we see that Francesca and Misetto have finished one round in bed. Francesca says, "My husband can't make me happy. All he knows is how to talk about his grandeur and status." After this, the two of them get ready for the second round. Just then, hearing the sound of Bruno coming into the room, Misetto tries to escape by jumping out the window, but Bruno sees him from behind and follows him into all the servants' houses. However, Misetto gets there first and pretends to be asleep. After this, Bruno starts checking all the servants to see whose heart is beating fast. When he comes to Misetto, he becomes suspicious that this is the servant, but due to the darkness, he cannot recognize him. So, he cuts off some of Misetto's hair so that in the morning he can find out who the real culprit was. As soon as Bruno leaves, Misetto gets up and cuts off a little bit of hair from all his colleagues so that Bruno cannot identify him. In the morning, Bruno lines up all the servants and starts checking their hair one by one. But everyone's hair is slightly cut, so he cannot determine who the real person is. Despite this, he understands that whoever it is very clever. In anger, he threatens everyone. "If I catch the person I am looking for, consider him finished." Then, as a punishment for all the servants, he gets their hair completely cut short. The next day, When Francesca and Bruno sit down for dinner, Bruno warns his wife, saying, "What you did was not right. I know that you are also involved in all this. If I ever get my hands on that servant, I will finish him off, along with you." But Francesca is not at all afraid of Bruno and replies, "You won't be able to do anything like that." In the meantime, Bruno sees his wife and Misetto making gestures and understands that the servant is Misetto. After this, we see Misetto working, and Francesca is also there. She comes to Misetto and tries to force herself on him, but this time, Bruno sees them from a distance. In anger, Bruno tells his men, "Catch Misetto and bring him to me." Misetto sees that Bruno has seen everything. To save his life, he starts to run away. Bruno's men also start chasing him, but they cannot catch him. Running through the forest, Misetto gets quite far away. There he sees Father Tommaso. The father drinks some wine on his way to the market, and due to intoxication his cart overturns. All the clothes are swept away in the river. Misetto sees this and helps the father, collecting all the clothes. The father becomes very happy with this. When he finds out that Misetto has no home, he takes him with him to the church. The father gives Misetto something to eat and says, "You will have to live in the church as a mute and deaf person, otherwise, the sisters of the church will trouble you a lot." The next morning, the father introduces Misetto to Sister Maria and says, "I have brought a man who is an expert in every work. He is mute and deaf, so I have brought him here so that he can work in Lurco's place." Hearing this, Sister Maria also hires Misetto for the job. From that day on, Misetto starts working, but Sisters Alessandro and Fernanda do not know that Misetto has been hired. Fernanda, mistaking him for an intruder, runs up to him and starts scaring him with an axe. She asks him, "Who are you?" Just then, Sister Alessandro brings Sister Maria. Maria explains, "He is our new gardener, named Misetto, and he is mute and deaf." Hearing Maria's words, Fernanda leaves Misetto. After this, we see Sister Maria and Alessandro, where Maria tells them, "The clothes you sisters wove were forcibly snatched away by robbers from the father while he was on his way to the market. I am sorry that your hard work went to waste." Maria then says, "From now on, to increase the work of weaving clothes, we will bring in some more people so that more clothes can be made in less time." After this, Alessandro is shown working with an old nun named Veo to make clothes. During this, the frame for making clothes breaks. She starts to go to Misetto to get the frame fixed. Just then, Sister Genevieve sees Alessandro leaving and starts to secretly keep an eye on her. Alessandro tells Misetto, "Fix this frame." Misetto starts to fix the frame, but in the meantime, Alessandro starts to vent her frustration. She says, "I don't want to stay here and I don't want to do sewing work either. I want to get out of here and live my life well." Misetto, despite hearing all this, doesn't react because he is pretending to be mute and deaf in front of everyone. Alessandro also knows that Misetto won't be able to hear anything or say anything to anyone, so she keeps talking freely. At night, the father comes into Misetto's room and asks him, "How was your day?" The sisters here are a bit quarrelsome, which can make it a bit difficult to work. Misetto replies, "Yes, some sisters are indeed quite quarrelsome, but I will manage my work." The father says, "Don't worry, they won't harm you, but keep telling me if anything happens, and keep pretending to be mute and deaf in front of them so that they don't bother you too much." On the other hand, Fernanda is reading something in her room when someone throws a stone at her window. She opens the window and finds out that her childhood friend, Marta, has come to meet her. After this, both of them go to Alessandro's room. The three of them start drinking wine. After a while, Sister Genevieve also comes there, and then everyone starts having fun together. Then, while drinking, they start talking about romantic things. Marta starts telling them many things about boys and says that there is a special herb that can be used in the right way to attract boys. Hearing all this, the other three also have a lot of fun. The next day, when Misetto is working, Alessandro comes there. She tells Misetto, "I made this handkerchief for you." Then she starts wiping Misetto's sweat with the handkerchief and sits next to him to talk to him. Actually, after hearing Marta's romantic talk last night, Alessandro had started having romantic thoughts. In the middle of their conversation, she suddenly kisses Misetto. Misetto also, without missing this opportunity, starts enjoying the storm and earthquake with Alessandro at the same time. But just then, the church bell rings, which makes Misetto nervous. Alessandro also quickly composes herself and goes to the church for prayer. But during the prayer, Fernanda sees mud on Alessandro's scarf and nails. In the next scene, Genevieve and Fernanda are washing clothes. Just then, Alessandro comes there, looking very happy. She tells them, "Last night was a lot of fun." Fernanda asks, "What are you doing here, and how did your clothes get so dirty?" Alessandro replies, "I was helping the new gardener with his work, which is why my clothes got dirty." Hearing this, Genevieve and Fernanda don't believe her because Alessandro never used to do any work. But Fernanda, who was quite clever, understood that Alessandro was hiding something. After this, we see Fernanda and Marta in the forest. They look for the herb that Marta had mentioned earlier. After some searching, they find the herb. Then they boil it to prepare a special liquid, after which Marta puts 2 drops of that liquid in Fernanda's eyes and then makes a small cut on her finger to take a little blood and put it on her cheeks. But Genevieve is watching all this secretly. After this, Fernanda and Marta go to Misetto's room. Fernanda scares him with a knife. Then both of them try to attract Misetto. Misetto finds all this quite strange as to why they are doing this to him. But slowly he also loses his control. After this, the 3 of them enjoy this storm and earthquake to the fullest. Then, when everything is over, Marta and Fernanda come out. Just then, they meet Genevieve outside, who asks them, "What are you 2 doing here?" They don't give a specific answer to her questions and make an excuse to leave. But Genevieve understands that they are hiding something from her. The next morning, head Father Bishop comes to visit the church, and Father Tommaso and Sister Maria welcome him. On the other hand, Misetto goes to Alessandro's room, and the 2 of them once again start enjoying the storm and earthquake. But in the meantime, Sister Veo suddenly comes into the room. At first, Misetto and Alessandro don't notice her, but suddenly, Misetto sees her and speaks out. Alessandro is shocked to hear this. With Veo's arrival, both of them get nervous. Alessandro immediately composes herself and pretends to help Veo, while Misetto quickly hides under the bed. They were lucky because Sister Veo could not hear, so she could not understand their actions. Later, Misetto gets out through the window without making any noise. The next day, Genevieve sees Misetto resting and makes an herb to attract him. But instead of putting it in her eyes, she drinks it. Then she takes out blood from her hand and puts it on her cheeks. Meanwhile, Alessandro comes to Misetto's room and asks him why he lied about being mute. Just then, hearing Genevieve's voice, Alessandro hides in the room, and Misetto pretends to be asleep. Genevieve, who was under the influence of the herb, goes to Misetto and starts sticking to him and doing strange things. But hearing Fernanda's voice, she also hides where Alessandro already was. Seeing each other, both of them are shocked. Then Fernanda comes into the room, and scaring Misetto with a knife, she ties his hands and blindfolds him. Then, scaring and threatening him, she starts taking him towards the forest, while Alessandro and Genevieve follow them secretly. Then when they reach the middle of the forest, it was already night. They see a fire burning in the middle of the forest and many girls dancing without clothes there. Misetto was also tied up nearby. Alessandro says, "What are these people doing?" Genevieve says, "I once read about this kind of ritual in which girls get the power of a witch by sacrificing humans." Here, we find out that Fernanda used to come here every day on the pretext of her donkey running away, and now Marta has also joined her. Marta and Fernanda are about to sacrifice Misetto when Misetto, out of fear, speaks out, "Leave me." Hearing this, they also understand that Misetto is not mute and deaf. Meanwhile, Genevieve, in a state of intoxication, also takes off her clothes and starts dancing with those girls. Seeing this, all the girls start running away, and Marta goes to Genevieve and starts fighting with her about why she came here. In the meantime, Fernanda is about to sacrifice Macedo when Alessandro comes there and snatches the knife from Fernanda and saves Macedo. Meanwhile, in the scuffle between Genevieve and Marta, Genevieve hits Marta with a stick and knocks her unconscious. Then, wearing her clothes, she takes the donkey and runs towards the church. Reaching the church, she starts shouting that Fernanda is a witch, and hearing all this, Father Bishop comes out. Genevieve comes and starts telling him that Fernanda is a witch. Just then Fernanda, Alessandro, and Macedo also reach there. Alessandro tells the father, she is lying, and today she took that herb and is talking nonsense in a state of intoxication. But Genevieve says, no, I am not lying. All these people are together, and these two have also been intimate with this gardener. Hearing this, Father Bishop calls Maria and brings her out and asks what is all this happening. Just then, Father Tommaso also comes out of Maria's room, which surprises everyone, and Father Bishop also understands what was happening in this church until now. After this, the next day, Father Bishop sentences everyone one by one and asks them to ask for forgiveness from God. Father Tommaso gets the biggest punishment because he took undue advantage of being a father. As punishment, he is sent to an ashram where only men live. Macedo is again handed over to Lord Bruno, where the Lord's soldiers imprison him. After this, we see the three sisters who apologize to each other. Sister Genevieve also tells Fernanda, please forgive me. Then the three of them start thinking about Macedo, that Lord Bruno will probably kill him. So they make a plan to save him. On the other hand, Lord Bruno had imprisoned Macedo in jail and then comes there and says, I have tied my wife with dogs and wild animals so that she gets a painful death, and now it's your turn, but I will not kill you. I will keep you alive and torture you even more than that. Saying this, he leaves from there. After this, Macedo starts requesting those soldiers to free him, but they refuse and instead mock him. Then, after some time, seeing a burning candle on a turtle, the soldiers follow it. Actually, the sisters had left that turtle, and as soon as they left, the three sisters come and take Macedo out. They put a dummy in his place, dress Macedo in the sisters' clothes, and then take him and start running towards the forest. Meanwhile, we see Maria, who comes with the donkey to meet Tommaso. Both of them are very happy because they have fallen in love and could not stay away from each other. Just then, hearing some noises, they hide, and then Fernanda sees her donkey there and asks, surprised, how did this donkey come here? But Genevieve takes her away from there. Then, after they leave, Maria and Tommaso come out, and they have understood that those three sisters have freed Macedo. Seeing their mischief, they look at each other and smile, and both of them start leaving from there together. And with this, the story ends here.